everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today we're here to talk about 2022's Babylon. And we're here today to talk about its brand new 4K Blu-ray that just came out. But before we dive into that, if you are a fan of movie reviews, 4K Blu-ray reviews, some tech and game reviews along the way, then this is the channel for you, and nothing helps the channel out more than by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So when I first saw Babylon back in December, I said it was too early to put it really high on my best of 2022 films list. It still made the top 5 of 2022 for me, but I said I had to see it again before I could really decide where this would rank. And I got my hands on this 4K Blu-ray, I watched it again last night, and yeah, this is definitely the best film of 2022 for me. Knocking Pearl off, which I really love Pearl, but I really do think that Babylon will stand the test of time as the years go by. I think more and more people will learn to appreciate Babylon. Damien Chazelle's masterpiece, in my opinion. So if you guys are just here to see the 4K Blu-ray review, the time for that is right here. You can go check that out over there. And for everybody else who wants to just see my film review, it's going to be full spoilers. I'm probably going to be bouncing around a lot, but I really have a lot to say about this film because I really, truly believe that this is a masterpiece that not enough people saw. So this film originally came out back in December of 2022. It's Damien Chazelle's 4th film after Whiplash, First Man, La La Land, and then this. And for me, he's pretty much 4 for 4. I think First Man is his weakest film. I just don't think that had the flair that we're really come to know Damien Chazelle for. You know, he really loves jazz music. We saw that in Whiplash. This score again is done by Justin Hurwitz, who I believe won an Academy Award for La La Land. And La La Land, really, for me personally, again, is just a fantastic film. I've told you guys many times here on the channel, I do not like musicals. I'm just not a fan. I'm one of the probably 3 or 4 people on this planet who don't like Grease, and that's just because, you know, musicals, I always just feel like the story gets slowed down when we have to stop and have musical breaks. But La La Land really just blew that out of the water because I was into all those songs. I also really enjoyed the story that Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone were going through, following your dreams in Hollywood. You know, one wants to be an actress while the other one wants to be this big-time jazz musician. And like I said, Damien Chazelle loves jazz, so all of his movies do feature at least some form of jazz. And this film is also no different. With Giovanna Adipo's character of Sidney Palmer, he's a jazz musician in this film as well. Actually, his character in this film, I felt like out of all the leads in this film, because the leads are Brad Pitt's Jack Conrad, Margot Robbie's Nellie Leroy, and then our through line through all of this is Diego Calva's character of Manny Torres. He's us. He's us in this. We are really supposed to be Manny watching all of this unfold, but like I was just saying, Sidney Palmer in this film, you know, he's there throughout the entire film, but out of all the leads, I felt like he had the weakest story arc. I felt like he was kind of pushed a little bit to the back burner. And, you know, he tells a very important story about the 1920s and 1930s as far as, you know, black musicians and how they were treated. There is a scene in here where Manny asks him to put chalk on his face that can be very uncomfortable, and I think that is speaking of the 1920s and 1930s time. But, you know, his character, I feel like for a 3-hour and 9-minute runtime, he got the least amount of attention, and I think his character did deserve more of the attention. Most of the attention goes to Brad Pitt's character and Margot Robbie's character, and rightfully so, because both of them put on star-stealing performances. And unfortunately, this film did bomb at the box office, so these two didn't receive any kind of Academy Award nominations for this. But I thought Margot Robbie, and I could see the complaints about Margot Robbie's character, like she's played this character before. It's like a combination of a bunch of characters we have seen, including the Brooklyn accent from The Wolf of Wall Street, and her performance in Birds of Prey, and the first and second Suicide Squads. Well, one's the original, then one's a remake, even though they only came out a few years apart. And she plays Harley Quinn in both. So we've seen this like kind of crazy, loose cannon kind of character from her. But, you know, in this, it really does fit the character. And
Came out of nowhere. Who are you? I'm Nellie Leroy.
I just love her performance. Anytime Margot Robbie's on screen, you know, she usually does steal the show. She's a phenomenal performer. I knew this girl can act. Like, I know I've seen her in The Big Short and The Wolf of Wall Street, but once we got to I, Tonya, I was like, okay, you know what? This is one of our generation's best talents, and she really puts it all on the table here. I think she does a phenomenal job. You know, she's just magnetic. It's an over-the-top performance, yes, but I thought she is perfect for it. Brad Pitt in this, you know, we don't appreciate Brad Pitt enough. Yes, he's an Academy Award winner, but man, this guy, he never does phone it in. I think people kind of just wrote him off as this handsome, good-looking person, and we don't appreciate his acting. I really hope that doesn't happen to me. Like, I know that I am gorgeous, but I hope people can see me for more than that. So for him, it's just, he's playing this character of Jack, who is phenomenal in the 1920s studio system. He's the big shot. He's the best. But unfortunately, as we shift into the talkies, which he pushes for, it exposes his acting, and he's not the greatest of actors when it comes to dialogue, and that's a big part of talkies. So that just ends up becoming a huge issue for him throughout this entire film that leads up to very similar death as in Boogie Nights with William H. Macy's character, where we have a nice tracking shot till eventually when he blows his brains out. And that's one thing that I felt like a lot of people were comparing this film to when it first came out, was Boogie Nights and Goodfellas. Because just like those two films, these are very long, epic films that tell a story over a long course of time. This film probably tells a story, not including the very ending in the 1950s, about 10 years. And it's the same thing with like Boogie Nights, and Goodfellas probably tells a lot more time than that. But, these sprawling epics through time, we get to see characters in different parts of time. And I just eat that shit up, especially when they're fast-paced like this. This is very similar to Goodfellas and Boogie Nights. And if you like those films, we don't get many of those films anymore. And I love these types of films, and I hope we get more of them, but these do cost a pretty penny to make, and unfortunately, like I said, this bombed at the box office, which is just a bad sign for us getting more mid-budget films like this that don't hit that $100 million mark like a superhero film will, but it just doesn't do as well financially for the studios to justify to keep making these films. I hope that enough people can see the talent in Damien Chazelle that we keep getting these films, because they are just amazing. The production design into this is phenomenal. The cinematography is incredible. When I first saw this, I saw it in a, not the greatest of theaters with a pretty shitty projector, if I'm being honest. It was way too cool. I could tell this was a warmer film, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on the 4K just to see the cinematography for all it's worth, and it didn't disappoint me. It was beautiful. One of the most gorgeous looking films, and again, this didn't get the award nominations that I think it deserved, and I understand, because again, a lot of people were kind of grossed out by this film too when it first came out, because there is a lot of bodily fluids you see in this, a lot of like bodily functions. It can be pretty damn gross at times, I'm not gonna lie. But that's also showing the excess of the 1920s and 30s, because apparently, yes, this is a very over-exaggerated film from the time, but it really is showing you, like, yeah, Hollywood's always kind of been Hollywood. It's crazy, it's always been like these chaos, these parties, the excessive amount of drugs. And that's really what the story of this movie is despite all that chaos and craziness that goes on in Hollywood, at the very end of the day, they put out some beautiful films. There's the opening party scene that's about 45 minutes long that transitions into our first day on set, just showing how all these films are made, how during the silent era we can make a bunch at a time. Again, over-exaggerated, but, still somewhat true. And just seeing how everything that went on behind the scenes, back then especially, you had people dying, passing out, people are just going crazy. They're doing drugs just to keep going because they're up all night. The scenes that they shoot, still at the end of the day, you get that magical feeling. And Damien Chazelle captures that magic feeling in this film. And that really leads up to the conclusion of this film, where I think that they turn the camera back on us and just show you, yeah, Hollywood might be insane. This all might not make sense, but what does make sense is that magical feeling you get in the theater watching a movie that you truly love, because the very end of this film goes into a montage of showing us film history, essentially. We see clips from this movie, we see clips from films like The Matrix, Avatar, Singing in the Rain, which obviously is a huge influence on this movie. They even bring it up in the movie. So all that stuff is just, they're turning the camera back on us and just showing what movie magic is, what movies mean to the world, and how special they are. And yeah, that speaks to me, because I love movies. I cherish movies. I think they're the greatest art medium that we've ever gotten in our entire lives. I'm fortunate enough, and just like all of you, that we have this in our lives. And you know what? Maybe we should appreciate it just a little bit more, because yes, these people are taking advantage of what they got out there in the West, and that's what this movie's trying to show you. But at the end of the day, we get some phenomenal films, and I think Babylon is one of those films. I think this is a movie that will stand the test of time. I truly, truly, truly love this movie. I think it's one of the rare masterpieces that we get that come out. Maybe we're lucky nowadays we get one a year of just this incredible films that I think in 10 years we'll still be looking back at Babylon, maybe Tar, definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once, because again, with that performance at the Oscars, that probably will be the most known from 2022, but I'm hoping that enough people get their hands on Babylon and learn to appreciate what they were going for, and appreciate this production design that went into this film. Phenomenal acting, just all around. I'll go on all day because I really do love this film, and I really do hope you guys check it out. And if you do, maybe this 4K Blu-ray is for you. So let's talk about that right now. Well, here it is, Babylon's 4K. And this is a Paramount release who is, very hit or miss when it comes to 4Ks lately. They've kind of gotten a little bit cheap on us. But it is a modern film, so it should look pretty damn good, right? Well, I can confirm to you, yeah, it does. It's got the works on it. We get Dolby Vision, Dolby Audio, HDR10. It's presented in its original aspect ratio of 2.39, so you got the black bars on the top and bottom. You get a nice slipcover on there, but you could have also got a Steelbook from Best Buy if you would have liked. It was a little bit too pricey for me. This is going for about $28 right now, which is still a little bit expensive, and I'll get into that in a second. So when you slide this off, you get a nice slipcover, same artwork underneath, studio release, so no reversible slipcover. And don't get fooled by that. Yes, you get a 4K and a Blu-ray in there, but the film is only on that 4K. That Blu-ray disc is only for special features, and that is all. Which threw me for a little bit of a loop, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really trying to understand Paramount. So last year, a lot of their releases only came with one disc, unless sometimes if you bought the Steelbook, you might get a second Blu-ray disc in there. But for the most part, if you bought a 4K last year, all you got was that 4K, which seemed like a cost-cutting measure. And it does make sense, save the disc, put everything on that one 4K, right? Well, in this, they put out the Blu-ray, and then they put only special features on there for the 4K. And that is just very strange. If I'm trying to understand you, I figured you were trying to save the disc and you wanted to cram everything on the 4K, but they only put all those extras on that Blu-ray, and you're probably thinking, well, it must be a lot of extras. Well, they're promoting it right on the box. It's only over 40 minutes of extras that are on that Blu-ray. So you get extended and deleted scenes, a couple featurettes, and then you get a 30-minute doc, like a making of the film. Kind of something you used to see back in the day on like MTV or something, like a small little half-hour documentary they used to just throw on TV just to promote the film. Well, they put that on the disc, and I did appreciate that. I really did. I actually found out something I didn't even think about on here, because Brad Pitt was saying that this is the first movie, and they only share one scene together, with him and Margot Robbie sharing a scene together, even though they've been in 3 films together: The Big Short, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then this. And even this, they don't really share the screen that much. They're both the 2 main characters, but they don't overlap that much, and I thought that was pretty funny, and I wouldn't have found that out if it wasn't for that short documentary. But it's not a full-length feature documentary. Like I said, it feels like one of those old made-for-TV documentaries to promote the film. So the extras are pretty damn disappointing, if I'm being honest. Even if I did enjoy that one little 30-minute documentary, I still can't say it's enough to say that the extras are good on here. And the fact that I assumed when I bought this that that Blu-ray disc would have the film on it, and the fact that it doesn't, so I can't even compare the 4K and the Blu-ray, is very disappointing. But just speaking on the 4K alone, like I said, Dolby Vision, HDR10, it looked great. It's about what I expected, and like I said earlier, I saw this in a pretty damn shitty theater and with a pretty damn shitty projector I was disappointed with, and I couldn't wait to get this so I could see what it really was supposed to look like, and it looked amazing. I mean, just beautiful 4K, the colors, the cinematography is definitely a choice, because a lot of scenes will have like this like hazy, dreamlike look to them, while others won't have that look to it. But again, it's it's kind of like a fantasy, this film. We're over exaggerating everything and trying to like experience like what Hollywood is to others. It is like a dreamlike world, and I think that the cinematography did create that. There's some incredible scoping scenes in this, especially the party in the beginning where there's just so many colors. Margot Robbie has this red dress on that just pops off your screen. We see balloons and everything like that, all different colors. So the HDR10, Dolby Vision, whatever you choose, I did compare them both. They're about the same, honestly. Nothing too different. I always just default to saying that the Dolby Vision was slightly better, but if I'm being honest, they're pretty damn close. It'd be really hard for me to say that with my eyes I could really notice a difference. Maybe if you put 2 TVs next to each other and I'm walking back and forth, I can give you a definitive answer on what I thought was best, but based on what I was seeing, it was about the same. But that's not to say it was bad, it's just I couldn't tell which one was better. But either way, modern film, modern tech, it still looked incredible. I mean, that's what I was expecting it to look like, and I was not disappointed. Now the audio, this is a very score-centric film, an amazing score at that, a heavy jazz-influenced score. Amazing. We get a Dolby Atmos track on here, True HD 7.1, It's a pretty damn standard Atmos track. Now, don't expect this to be in line with like an action film like Top Gun Maverick, who Paramount also did, because it's not an action film. But because of that score, it just it makes good use of all your speakers. The dialogue is crisp and clear. It's a dialogue-heavy film. So as long as you can put that remote down and settle in and just enjoy the track for what it is, I think you'll be very happy with it. It's a really good Dolby Atmos track. It's going to make great use of everything. Definitely nothing to worry about. It's about what I expected as well for a brand new 2023 Studio 4K release. My only real disappointment with this is the extras and the fact that they didn't pack in the Blu-ray, but they did still take the time to put a Blu-ray disc in here. It's very confusing to me, but the visuals and the audio are, top shelf. It's pretty standard. It's not in line with some of those bad Paramount releases like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and that does make sense because, their source material for this should be very easy to transfer to 4K. You don't have to really touch anything, I'm sure. I'm sure it's already done. You just have to put it on the disc, and it looks like that's what they did, and it looked fantastic. Now, you can check this out on Paramount Plus if you don't want to grab this 4K disc because it is going for $28, and it's hard for me to justify $28 for just one 4K and some pretty damn shitty extras, even though I think that this is one of the best films that came out last year, and I do want you guys to check this out. So you can check it out on Paramount Plus if you don't feel like grabbing this 4K. Not yet, at least. I think about $20 is where this 4K would fall in line, and it's a Paramount Studio release. And we got some holidays coming up, and I expect this to be one of those, Best Buy, Amazon, all the other big sites that sell physical media. This feels like the kind of thing that would get roped into the sales, and you can definitely get this probably for $20 around those sales. And I would say probably wait for that, but unless you're like me and you love this film, because I do love this film and I'm happy that it's in my collection, I am happy with my purchase. If I hadn't been reviewing it for the channel, would I have waited? No, probably not, because again, I really love this film and I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. But if you're not that big of a fan of the film and you just want to check it out on Paramount Plus first. And then after you're done doing all that, maybe you want to come back and grab this 4K, because I can recommend it. And I would honestly give this 4K still, even without those extras and everything like that, that kind of does disappoint me. And the bare bones packaging, that limited Blu-ray. I'm still going to give it a 8.5 out of 10 because I think this film does triumph over all that, and that disc itself is amazing. It's going to give your system a workout, and you're going to really appreciate watching it. It's a 3-hour, 9-minute film. It's not for everyone, but if it is for you, I definitely can recommend it. And if you want to grab this through our Amazon affiliate link, it does cost no extra money to you, and we will leave that link in the description below. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around to the end of today's video. It's Monday, and that means it's time for us to do our digital code giveaway. And if you just happen to be sticking around to the end of this video and wanted to see our Babylon review, and you're wondering what the hell is your digital code giveaway? Well, every single Friday, Matt or I will ask you 2 digital code giveaway questions. All you have to do is answer one of those questions in the comment section below. Then you come back to this video, we spin this magic wheel, and whoever the names it lands on, those are this week's lucky winners, and they have their choice of the digital codes that you saw on your screen before you today. And last week's winner, Carlos, actually chose not to take a digital code. He has a physical collection, but he was just happy to win, and he asked me to do a review of a regular Blu-ray for him, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But because of that, we are going to actually spin this wheel 3 times and pick 3 winners this week, since we didn't give away 2 digital codes last week. So we're going to spin this bad boy 3 times and see who this week's 3 lucky winners are. So without further ado, let's do that. All right, time for the first wheel spin. All right, Daniel, 2 weeks in a row. That's actually, I don't think that's ever happened in the history of this channel. All right, Daniel, we're going to remove you. Spin again. All right, Laura, congratulations. Laura, we're going to remove you. I'm going to spin this again. Do 3 times. and Rico Gomez. Those are our 3 winners. All right, congratulations. Well, there you have it. Daniel N is our first 2 weeks in a row winner, which is crazy with all the names that are on the wheel. So congratulations, Daniel, 2 weeks in a row. Laura, congratulations to you as well. Very happy you got your win. And Rico is one of the big names here on the channel. He's always helping us out, telling us about sales, really helping us, save some money. We're really glad that Rico got a win. Congratulations. And I'm very curious, has anyone not won yet? I think Daniel's won like 3 times already. I'm not too sure of, I don't keep track of the winners after the week's over, so I'm very curious how many people haven't actually won yet, because we have people on this wheel who have been playing the digital code giveaway since we started, which is well over a year ago. I remember the first time we did the digital code giveaway, I think we had 4 or 5 names on the wheel. It was nothing. And now, this wheel's pretty damn filled up. And I really want to tell you guys, I just appreciate the support so much. Matt and I both. It means the world to the channel that you guys come back here week in, week out, and I can recognize your names and you just communicate with us and just have a good time talking movies. That's the thing we like to do most here on the channel, is talk movies, talk some video games, and really just build this community. It really is the best part of this channel. I love it. I get some great movie recommendations from you guys, and you guys all just seem like really cool, down-to-earth people, and that's really what we're looking for here on this channel. Let's just not go too deep into Zack Snyder, though, because, that's when people start fighting each other. Zack Snyder, Star Wars movies, the MCU, that's when you get that real toxic fandom. But I don't think we got any of those here, so really glad for you guys. Really happy for our 3 winners. And if you are those 3 winners, you guys know how this works. Either hit us up on any of our social media services, that's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Direct message us there, or you can always hit us up at our email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com. Let us know which one of those digital codes you want. As long as one of the other winners didn't take that code is all yours. And for everybody else who didn't win this week, come back to this Fridays video. We are going to do this all over again. And if you want to support this channel, nothing supports this channel more than by just simply liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and searching for us on all podcast services, because we're doing that now. Search for us there, give us a 5-star rating, maybe write us a review, and after you're done doing all of that, I want you guys to throw on your best clothes, go to a ball somewhere, dance around, have a good time, really enjoy that party life, and while you're there, I want you to tell every single one of those people that you see about Let's Talk Entertainment and Media, and then we'll be seeing you this Friday. Have a good week, guys.